Greetings and welcome back to Room 303 in our Talks with Walt, as we are calling our readings through Walt Whitman's deathbed edition of Leaves of Grass. We're now in the Children of Adam section, and we come to the last 5 poems of that section, beginning with Native Moments. Now, my assumption is that you've been following our stuff at learnstrong.net all the way from our inscriptions study, all the way up and including to I Am He That Aches With Love, down that left-hand side there on our website for learnstrong.net. Now, Norton's will tell us some interesting stuff about this little poem. It was number 8 in the original Children of Adam group in 1860, and it took its present title in 1867 and has remained unchanged except for the dropping in 1881 of the phrase, quote, "I take for my love some prostitute," end quote, after indecent calls in the poem in the 7th line. We'll get to it. The Barrett manuscript also reveals other rejected phrases like, quote, "Give me fierce pleasures only, give me the weedy luxurious," end quote. So we're going to see right away in this poem some interesting kinds of challenges. We might call it challenges that are Whitman's dilemma, as some scholars have referenced it. There's at least 3 of these dilemma poems from Pent Up Aching Rivers, 1 Hour to Madness and Joy, and then this Native Moments poem. And in many ways, this is kind of a dilemma that Whitman will struggle with. Is it going to be what some scholars have called spontaneous Adamic joys? We are obviously in the Children of Adam section. Or the harsh vulgarity of society, kind of in quote by what scholars have said about this one. I like the title, Native Moments, to reference authenticity. So put that in your notes. I think Whitman was always, struggling is probably not the right word, but he was always challenging himself to be a poet of authenticity. Let's enjoy the poem and then come back to annotate it. Native Moments. When you come upon me, you are here now. Give me now libidinous joys only. Give me the drench of my passions. Give me life, coarse, and rank. Today, I go, consort with nature's darlings. Tonight, too. I am for those who believe in loose delights. I share the midnight orgies of young men. I dance with the dancers and drink with the drinkers. The echoes ring with our indecent calls. I pick out some low person for my dearest friend. He shall be lawless, rude, illiterate. He shall be one condemned by others for deeds done. I will play a part no longer. Why should I exile myself from my own companions? O you shunned persons, I at least do not shun you. I come forthwith in your midst. I will be your poet. I will be more to you than to any of the rest. And we've spoken already about the echoes that we're beginning to hear. If you've been with me through our study of the inscriptions as well as through the Song of Myself, 52 poems, you're already hearing some of these lines that are going to be echoes from earlier sets of lines. Notice we begin again with Native Moments and then the use of the dash here twice, making us think, of course, of our Emily Dickinson, right? When you come upon me, he's speaking directly, of course, to these moments, these captured moments as he's thinking about them. You are here now. Notice the repetition of the word now. Give me now. Libidinous joys only. This word libidinous, of course, takes us all through the Children of Adam section, doesn't it? Give me the drench of my passions. Notice the repetition 3 times of the word give. Give me life, coarse, and rank. He likes these 2 words, coarse and rank, right? You'll come back to see them again and again. Think about Song of Myself, passage 24, for example, that we've already worked with. And then he becomes very immediate. Today, I go consort. Now, this word consort's only used 2 times in all of Leaves of Grass, of course. 1 time in cabined ships from the inscriptions section, and then here. Consort, of course, makes us think about it, 3a, the accusation that is made to Mercutio by Tybalt in Romeo and Juliet, Shakespeare's Romeo and Juliet, right? Today I go consort with, notice it's capitalized, nature's darlings. Tonight, too, I am for those. Now we've heard this all again and again. We've heard this where Whitman will say out loud, he will be the poet of, right? I am for those who believe in loose delights. Go back to Song of Myself, passage 5, and the use of the word loose. I told you that he loves this word loose. Right here, it's used not as a verb, but rather as an adjective. Loose delights. I share the midnight orgies of young men. Go back and go all the way through Leaves of Grass and notice how rarely that the word orgy gets used in Leaves of Grass. So this is a radical word for him, no question. I dance with the dancers, drink with the drinkers. Obviously, we're talking here about activity that's unacceptable for most people, right? The echoes, and it's an important word because there are so many echoes in Leaves of Grass. The echoes, he says, ring with our indecent calls. And then in the original poem he wrote, I take for my love some prostitute in 1881. He edited this out and he continues, I pick out some low person for my dearest friend. Now there's a lot of debate about the ways in which these kinds of omissions from his later poems are going to be made and why they're going to be made. But notice his use of the word low for a person of for my dearest friend. Notice the inclusivity that he will be playing with. He shall be, and then notice his listing, lawless, rude, go through Leaves of Grass and notice how he loves to use this word. Illiterate, it is for Whitman going to be one of the great things, goals of his Leaves of Grass. He wants poetry that illiterate people can enjoy and appreciate. Now, you can appreciate the irony of that because those people are probably going to have to read or hear it read, and yet he will embrace the illiterate. He shall be one condemned by others for deeds done. You can go back in Leaves of Grass. We've seen this several times. The condemned, the imprisoned, he's going to call to them as well. Oh, you shunned persons. Whitman was himself shunned. He understood what it meant to be shunned, and he will embrace those individuals who are somehow outside of mainstream society. I at least do not shun you. Great inclusivist voice, right? I come forthwith in your midst. I will be your poet. I will be more to you than to any of the rest. While Whitman wanted to be accepted by everyone, he really wanted to be accepted by those people who no longer believed that poets could in fact speak for them. Well, what are we going to say at 2A about a poem like this? Well, the truest poet, the truest artist, is the most authentic, right? Native, that is to say. At 2B, there's some interesting word choice going in here, as we've said. This use of the word loose just comes to mind, and the dropped lines as well. Remember, he dropped the lines, give me fierce pleasures only, give me the weedy luxuriousness. Now, that's an interesting, that word weedy as well is interesting for a collection of poems called Leaves of Grass, right? I'm going to let you speculate as to why these lines got dropped. At 3A, well, obviously, Song of Myself, passage 5. I mean, just go back and read it again and then read this passage and you'll see the connections very quickly. I also want you to jot down Emerson's nature. Notice the word nature is here capitalized. Whitman learned how to play that game from his study of Emerson. Finally, at 3B, a way to relate this poem to you personally. Was a time that you had to choose between nature and society, and how did you make such a choice, and what were the implications of that choice? Well, I hope that Whitman is challenging you to face dilemmas just like he had to face. Thank you.